You know, the press is finally waking up, man. Even Kristen Welker on Meet the Press, and I'm not sure exactly what goes on with these corporate media types, but the speed that they operate in to get things out there that are actually true is just so slow that we should actually be impressed. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised. It took them almost 3 years to acknowledge that the Hunter Biden laptop was real. It took them just as long to even mention the fact that there's a freaking coronavirus laboratory in Wuhan that might have had something to do with something. So, we shouldn't be surprised about the fact that they're finally starting to cover the cognitive issues of an 80-year-old president and the potential corruptions of our justice system. I mean, honestly, it's really right on time. It's 3 years in, it's spot on. But the humorous thing, even after all this time to prepare, the Biden team, they are just not ready for it, man. They're so accustomed to going on these shows and just getting the teammate treatment that they absolutely lose their shit when they get even a tiny bit challenged.
Unlike President Trump, which has 91 felony counts pending against him, and by the way, in over all the depositions that President Trump has taken in those cases, it says he doesn't remember or doesn't know over 1,000 times. So they're swooning over whether or not the president remembered the year that his son died and therefore is not fit to be president. It's just really sad and below the belt and unnecessary.
Well, just to be very clear, the report didn't say he wasn't engaged in any wrongdoing. In fact, it was quite firm in the fact that he mishandled classified documents. He just wasn't indicted and criminally charged. But let me follow up with you. The documents found in the president's
no, Kristen, wait. Let me. No. You can't. No. I'm not gonna accept that premise. In an investigation, a special counsel determines based on the facts and the law about whether somebody engaged in criminal wrongdoing. And he found out that the president did. And as a matter of fact, he's the only special counsel that's been engaged in this kind of activity that had to say that he could not indict somebody. And that is a fact. And so that's the big takeaway from this report from a legal perspective.
From a legal perspective, that is absolutely right. He said he was not going to indict him. Let me, though, ask this question.
Because he didn't have the law or the facts to do it.
Right. Well, right. But he did say that classified documents were mishandled, and he said that national security could have been jeopardized. But let me ask you this, because the documents...
But Kristen, he didn't say national security. No, ma'am. I'm sorry. He didn't say national security was compromised, and you just heard from the Secretary of Homeland Security.
Here's the thing, man. This dude is not prepared, and the guy cannot handle his propaganda. It absolutely does say that. It actually goes a little bit farther than just saying that. It says that he had special access materials pertaining to confidential human sources in a beat-up old box in his garage, the same garage that his son allegedly was probably getting high in. So yeah, it absolutely said that. And just so we're all on the same page, those are documents that can actually get somebody killed. And if you haven't read the report, I really recommend you find some time to get through it. It's actually not as dry as you would think, but what I would say that would almost excuse this poor guy here is that it does say Joe Biden willfully concealed documents, but in other parts, it does seem to contradict that. And if you read it really carefully, in the portions that seem contradictory, I think that they're talking about individual documents. And I showed you in the open, even in his press conference, Joe Biden tries to pull a fast one regarding that. He said, if you look at the specific page, I think it was 215, it says, I did not willfully take any documents regarding Afghanistan, which is a semantics game. Because the problem for old Joey is that his documents go back so far that the Russians were in Afghanistan and not us. But anyway, there are some parts that seem contradictory, so I'll give him that. Maybe the special prosecutor needs to testify before Congress and clear things up. Who knows? Maybe this guy even set it up that way. I hope so, because that would be enlightening. But we'll keep going here. But first, guys, be a part of the channel's growth. It's going to be a very important year for conservative voices, so we have got to do it together. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let's keep this going.
But it was not. And the facts and the law suggested that the president was not engaged in criminal activity. To be distinguished between the former president, who right now has 91 felony counts pending against him in 4 different cases. So let's just keep the facts right, and let's not make false comparisons between the two, which unfortunately people do a lot of these days.
Speaking of the former president,
I don't know if it's funny or depressing or what it is, but it's something. The fact that these people believe that they can use their levers of power to charge Donald Trump with what really does look like bogus charges. And at the very same time, they can use those same levers to absolve themselves. And then they can go out and parade themselves out and just say, hey, look, our guy's clean. We've got the facts and we've got the law on our side. And the other guy, he's dirty. He's got the facts and the law against him. And really, they're right. If you just look at things in the aggregate, that's exactly how it looks. And that's exactly how they expect the average person to look at it. When you look at it only in the aggregate, only through the lens that's been distilled for you by MSNBC, it looks exactly that way. But if you just pick one case at complete random, whether a Biden case or a Trump case, doesn't matter. Just look line by line, word by word, and fact by fact, and not one of them appears like they've been presented to you. Not one of them is presented accurately, not even close. And you know what? I used to think that the deck was so stacked that there was no overcoming it, right? But the farther along we get, the more cracks that appear and the bigger that those cracks get. I'm beginning to think that this might actually be a time where the good guys win. But we'll see. I hope so. We got to keep the faith. I know that. But that's just my take, guys. Let me know yours in the comments. And if you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.